It's your girl Tay, and you are now listening to TayeTalks. I hope everyone is doing well. This is your host Tay, and this is my first show on TayeTalks. I'm very excited today to share with you all the things that I've come to learn in my recent times as a 23-year-old mother. On today's show, I am going to discuss why I quit social media. Hopefully, in this show, you can take away some things that might benefit you, that might help you, or someone you know who may be struggling with social media. So first, I quit social media about 2 months ago on September 30th. I was sitting in my living room at the time in my first apartment, and I was scrolling down Instagram. I looked at the time, and I realized I've been scrolling on Instagram for 2 hours. And at that time, I had been working on writing a book and just trying to be more productive and trying to get out more and and do great things, and I guess great things in a way that I know it to be for myself, or what I am interested in. And I've been at home all day with my daughter. I am mostly a stay-at-home mom, and I just, I feel like I have everything down packed sometimes, and sometimes I don't. So that day must have been the day that I felt like I didn't have things down packed for me to delete all of my social media. In the times before that, I had been struggling with um, depression, anxiety, and a lot of insecurities, and just a lot of heavy weight, a lot of baggage. And most times I felt alone. But, you know, as I've grown and as I've turned inward instead of outward and wanting to fight the world and blame, have a blame game, I've realized that there's so much more to discover when you go inward. And so that day, I decided I'm going to delete all my social media. And this time I was serious because plenty of times before I've thought, I'm going to give social media a break. I'm going to, let it go. But I had to. A part of me just said it's time for you to remove the distractions and do what you have to do. Do what's best for you. So I made the choice to go and permanently deactivate all of my social media pages. I still currently have YouTube, and I still currently have Pinterest. But I don't spend all day on those two apps like I spent the time on all the other apps I was on. Um, but I made the decision to quit social media just simply because it was taking me away from my life. I started to feel like the world there in my phone was was real life. I had reality all so confused, and it made me feel alone because it made me feel like I could not keep up in that world. And I can admit that at that time, it's like, even though a part of me felt like I was in that world, dominating in something, I still felt like a failure. Excuse me. And that's just not what I was trying to get at that time. I didn't need to feel like I had failed at something or I had to keep up with something. I'm not that type of person. So I was so curious to figure out why am I so drawn into my phone for all these hours, allowing all this, to excite me, to give me that feel good, that dopamine. And so I said enough is enough, and I gave it all up. And it's been the best 2 months. Within the past 2 months, I have also felt like time has moved so fast. I actually had been confusing my own self. I actually thought that I was off of social media for about 6 to 8 months, which I thought was very uh, alerting. That I could feel like time had moved by so fast. Still, even when I'm not being distracted by all of, like I said, the dopamine. And so I've realized since quitting social media that now every detail matters. Like, I can be out in the store and a guy could walk past me, a lady, anyone could walk past me, and I am now so focused on every freckle, every lash, everything about that person because it's 3D now. It's realistic. It's the most VR thing that it could ever be. And so now when I walk amongst each kind of person, it's like I can now see that no one brings spark, like no one brings light. Everything looks dull, faces droop, and trends actually don't exist in real life. It actually feels fake. I've also had time where memories actually come to me as temporary. However, those temporary memories also feel so meaningful. And that is literally just all of what I've gained in 2 months. I've tapped back into me that I didn't know was me, and that has been very frightening. Before quitting social media, I went on a journey of like a spiritual journey. And this spiritual journey wasn't intentional, which is why I back God so much now, more 100%, like more straightforward, unconsciously, unconsciously, subconscious, all surface level, deep levels. It doesn't really necessarily matter. And what it is God is God, and I know now why. And it took me to be in what I thought was the worst position ever to see that is like I didn't have to feel that way at all. What I was going through. And I allowed myself for the first time to tell myself no. Like, I allowed myself to accept discipline for the first time in the time that I was in that worst feeling that I had, been in. And I was on a quest, and that quest was I can do this. I don't this won't break me. So um some who were following me when I was on Instagram, but I was posting a bunch of videos on me renovating my RV. I actually raised my daughter for almost her whole first year of her life in the RV full time. And so when we moved actually we had moved out into our first apartment, and so we had still had the RV, and it was in like really damaged, and we had repaired the floors, and the only thing we had to get into was the walls and everything. So I came back and I was documenting that, and I was showing hands on that I could do something because I had been so stuck in mommy mode, girlfriend mode, everyone else's expectations of me. And so coming to the RV was like the best thing ever because I was able to finally see what I could do, truly what I could do with my own hands. And so some time before, coming into the reason of why I quit my social media overall is that spiritual awakening I had being here in the RV, building and crafting and seeing and thanking God for the first time in ways that I've never thought God for. I actually started to read the Bible. I started to go to church. I started to do all these things I've done, but I've never really taken into consideration before. Like I did this time that made me finally see the ways of life. So from there, in here, renovating with God, reading the Bible with God, and exploring parts of me that were now intentional, it was amazing. And so I was so focused on that. Like I even kept a journal. Like I was writing every day, determined to do soaps. My friend actually, I even rekindled like a really good friendship. Like we were friends for a long period of time. However, it's like after becoming a mom, it was very hard for me to build relationships with other people or want to be around other people without having focus on my daughter. So being able to encourage a friend to also read the Bible and do Bible study with her, and all these things. This is the first time I'm diving this deep. It felt so good to be able to have that process all tracked and not feel like I failed at it. Like I was 100% in it. So being back home that day in the living room, sitting on the couch with my daughter, scrolling, I got lost in time. And I didn't realize how fast everything was being given to me and how quickly I was releasing all that information. And it made me just say, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to be that girl that sits here all day and try to create this image when I can really create the image in reality, in 3D and 4D, in all kinds of ways. In reality, I could bring what I really want to life if I just get my head out my phone. So not being on social media has disciplined me, but also given me more time to see every detail. So, like I previously said, everything is important to me now. Conversations, feelings, and just every single detail, because I'm starting to realize in all ways where I possibly could have went wrong and where I did go wrong and where I did fail and make a mistake. But I've also learned so much along the way, and I'm ready to share that with a lot of people. I'm ready to give the information that I have gained to other people, so maybe they could too feel great and feel like they're in control of all things that they could be in control of. And that's probably the best thing I've heard so far, in my recent times, is control what you can control. And even though the time that I heard that, it was for a total opposite thing, my spirit took in that information and it stuck. It stuck with me in my mind. So that's what I've been on lately. I've been controlling what I can control, and a part of that, before I even knew it would be a part of it, was quitting social media. So I can say, I quit social media to give myself my life back. And I feel like when I have control over that, then I can have control over the life that I'm trying to show to the world. And so now I'm going to look at all of the steps, and now I'm going to look at every single detail, and not just in a way of a like or a post or a story or anything. And I know, to some that could be extremely scary when you look at it, because you will think, well, this is something that I enjoy doing. It's like, it's okay to enjoy doing something, but it's not okay to enjoy doing that thing and not knowing why you're even enjoying it. It's not okay. So doing this, in a way, gave me my life back. The life I didn't even know I could chase, the life I didn't even know I could have. And I'm not saying that social media is bad. It's just, it's not the product, it's the people. It's basically what I'm saying. Like, those who know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's not the thing, it's the persons. It's the consumer. So I've taken a lot of time now, and I'm ready. And so I hope that within this journey, within my time being able to record and share my voice and my words, that I could be encouraging for someone else. Maybe I'm encouraging you or inspiring you. This is just the beginning. I'm ready to make the true mistakes in life to be able to actually form myself into the woman that I really want to be for my daughter, for my legacy. And if that's all that I know that I can do here on earth, um, in my body, then I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and I'm excited about that. So I hope with this show that I could be inspiring and just help someone, share what I have to say, use my voice, to the best of my ability. And I would love to know, if you are choosing to quit social media, or if you've been thinking about quitting social media, I would love to know why. If you would love to share that story, or, if you did, quit social media, I would want to know. I would love to know, why. But, with all being said, everyone does, everything on, however they choose. But just make the best decision you think you could make for yourself. I you know I think this is going to be great. I'm really excited about this whole journey, and I really look forward to everywhere this takes me. And I'm looking forward to basically being the best part of you as well. So I want to thank everyone for joining me on tonight's show on why I quit social media. And I look forward to sharing more stories and topics with you all. But join me next time here on TayeTalks. And this is your host, Tay. Have a good night.